Hello and welcome to the Midweek podcast of First Baptist Sweetwater. My name is Jerry Hendricks, and I have with me today my partner, Teak Hamilton.
That's me.
Teak, man, what are you going to do with 2 spring break weeks?
I'm going to go to watch the Spurs Mavs play.
Nice.
I'm going to go watch the women's national soccer team play, and I'm going to go hiking.
National soccer team?
The women's national soccer team.
That's random. Anyways.
They're local. They're here.
Oh, really?
I mean,
okay.
when it's a national team, they're all over.
Wow. Did not know that. That sounds like a busy couple of weeks.
Well, that's all in 1 week.
Oh, okay.
The other week I'll
there
be
is
back
a
here.
second spring break week.
Yeah, but not for me.
Oh. I thought maybe you should get 2.
No.
Okay. Well, this is that time in the semester where I always feel like things move really, really fast.
I feel like we say that a lot, like throughout the year. We're like, hey, it's August. Oh, Advent's here.
Maybe so.
It just always moves fast.
We'll have our producer go back and check our transcripts.
How many times we've done that?
And see how many times we brought that up. So I'll add that to Kelsey's
That's
list.
only 100 episodes to go through.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
She got it.
Anyways, I think she can do that. We are turning a corner into a new series, which it seems even a little weird to call it a new series. It's really a season that we get the opportunity to move into. We took a little different turn last Sunday to talk about our last 5 years of my ministry here with the church, and also think about our future some. But Sunday we're fully focused on the Lenten season and all the activities that lead up to Resurrection Sunday.
Yeah, that kicked off with Ash Wednesday last Wednesday, which was really good service. It's always fun to be a part of that and be able to explain more of why we do that. Because even afterwards, I had people when I went out to eat that were asking me about Ash Wednesday, and again, we're surprised that a Baptist church was doing it, and so then I get to explain why we do it and what it is, and so it was good.
Yeah, and it kind of just moves from week to week, I suppose, for right now until we get to Holy Week. But that, for most churches and ours, is a very busy time of services and meaningful times together. We have here at our church, starting last year, we do celebrate Holy Week with other churches in town, and we'll host on the Thursday of Holy Week. And then we'll have the Good Friday service on that next day. So
on Friday.
Yeah, I was starting to say that, and I stopped myself. How about that?
Well, good job.
Yeah, so, but hopefully we can turn the corner into that. I guess I was thinking this morning, and Wednesday is kind of my where I start to really hone in on the talk for Sunday. But I always kind of go, man, I hate that this is during a season where we have spring break and people are moving around and out. So, but it is what it is, and we continue through this. But we know in that case too. My thought was, well, at least we have other ways that people can hear the conversation that we're having, kind of leading up to this period.
I liked, you and I talked last Wednesday or Thursday in your truck about the series. And that all the conversations are about encounters that people have, encounters with Jesus. And so that's going to be an interesting way to look at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in our series, what we've been taught, what we're, I guess, getting ready to do is that each year, it goes on a 3-year rotation. So this year, the readings and text and messages all come from the Gospel of John. So the first Sunday, this coming Sunday, it's the story of Nicodemus and Jesus' encounter with him. And then it's the Samaritan woman. Then Jesus heals a blind man, and then he raises Lazarus from the dead. And you've got your Rise Up t-shirt on. That's also going to be one of y'all's lessons.
That'll be one of our last ones. We start with Elisha and then Elijah. We flip them, so they'll go a little backwards. But
so in kind of laying the groundwork for the series, just the idea and the opportunity we have to look into the life and ministry of Jesus and see how he developed relationships through his ministry with these different people, and then consider our own relationship. That's the tag, I guess, for us as we try to experience this Lenten season more fully. It's not only about understanding the timeline of Jesus' activity, but also the encounter with people that he had along that timeline.
Right, because those were important in shaping how we respond to Jesus even now during this time of Lent.
Great gospel stories, great messages there on how the gospel spreads, and then definitely Jesus' work and some, I don't know, would you, in some sense, is it foreshadowing the experience of Lazarus?
I would assume so.
Okay.
I
didn't know if that would be a right word to attribute to that, but
I like it because we can define it however we want.
Heck yeah, it's our podcast, right? So, but as we make our way toward that, all these messages in the month of March are going to be real significant for us as we look into our own relationship and the relationship that Jesus had with others.
I really, excuse me, I really like how Lent, and this is totally random, I know. I like how Lent slows us down to experience the fullness of the story, of the narrative, of everything that happened. I was reading in a book or an article the other day, and it said that some churches are going to a process where on Palm Sunday they preach about the cross, and on Easter Sunday they preach about the resurrection, totally throwing out Palm Sunday.
Yeah.
And I think that's like vital to the story of Easter, of the resurrection and Jesus entering into Jerusalem. And so I think Lent gives you that opportunity to experience all of the story, not just narrowing it down to two events.
Right, and I think the way that I have typically viewed the lectionary experience through Lent is that in one way, it helps us to make sure that as educators in the church, that our children and students and new Christians are understanding the faith story, this particular part of the faith story. And it's something that's going to be repetitive that we do every year in a sort of a different angle or different view. And so I think that's critical for that experience. And then the other is for those of us who have walked through this for a long time, you don't want the struggle to be, how can I make this different? Because in some ways you're wondering, how can I make this the same?
Right.
And through that sameness, I believe that there's some discoveries we make along the way that are either more enlightening or deeper in our relationship, just because of the experiences that we bring to it in this season. And then one of the things that you and I do talk about during this season over and over is that the intent is not to rush.
Right.
And so the way I think that we look at this is that when we jump into these encounters with Jesus, we're not trying to rush the experience. Or I think, and this is probably how when we grew up not experiencing Lent in churches, we just kind of moved through Sunday to Sunday, and then you had the experience of Easter, and then it was just kind of it sort of stood alone as that one message. So the timeline, we believe, is important, and the experience of being intentionally or deliberately slow and slow-paced, even I think in the way that you try to even structure your life if you can, so that it is more reflective and sets you into that place where repentance and seeking those things that you're trying to strive through Lent, that they really come to fruition in your life.
One of the things that I try to do over Holy Week every year is to read from each gospel the entire narrative from Palm Sunday through the resurrection and see the different ways it's portrayed. So we're in John this year. I mean, John is very powerful and Jesus is in control of everything, where Mark gives a totally different picture, the humanity side of Jesus. And it's a really cool way, talking about the sameness and being intentional. That's one of the things I try to do. Though, like Lent, you give something up. It's never the same thing for me, but that's something I try to do every Holy Week.
Right. So to wrap this conversation up, one of the things that I would encourage folks to do as they prepare for Resurrection Sunday is make sure that your Sundays you don't just go kind of from week to week,
right?
Like we do maybe sometimes throughout the rest of the year, but that as you go from week to week, I mean, even on those Sundays that you're not in a worship service or in a church, make sure that you're letting the story progress in you, so that when that Resurrection Sunday is celebrated, you have all this body of experience, and it's something that is really makes that day much more meaningful as we talk about it. And so there is a lot of symbolism throughout this process, and I think there's things that you can do in your home or in your own faith walk that will help you to kind of really drill down and make this a significant time.
Yeah.
So look forward to seeing you on Sunday. And Teak, I guess we'll miss a couple of podcasts. Maybe not. I may do something while you're gone. Kelsey and I can pull this off. But enjoy your spring break. We look forward to connecting back once that's all over towards the end of the month. And then more than anything, we look forward to seeing you folks on Sunday.
See you then.